Wow. 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 What's happening, Blades? What's going on? What is happening? This isn't our club. I think we're all a little bit perplexed. Can't really believe it. Right, so in this video, we're going to catch you up on everything. Everything that we know to this point here. I can't honestly tell you that it's all definite, and I've already done one video on the wrong person, as it turns out. So, I think Anel said it best.
So we have some stuff to uncover here.
There is an awful lot to unpack here. So, last time we spoke, or I spoke at you, we just had what we thought was going to be the best news of the new year. And it is, for me, still. You know, that overrides everything that Illiman and Dye and Sanderberger are still Blades. That was euphoric to a lot of us. At the beginning of the window, we didn't want to lose anybody. We knew that the Cadra thing were sort of an island on its own. But everybody else, we just wanted to stay. This embargo sort of hit us all for six a little bit. We had Blades saying that we should sell Sander, we should not sell Sander. I could understand the logic behind selling Sander if it got us out of the embargo. We've covered that. So last night, obviously, the takeover stories are rumbling on. We've been told that the embargo was going to be resolved. Brilliant. Let's all have a good night's sleep. I'm scrolling through. I don't even think I was scrolling through. I think a notification came up on my phone. I just had a little look as I was dropping off at about 11:30. Blades man, who's been on top of this from the start. So whoever you are, Mr. Anonymous, the Blades man, who we all follow on Twitter, fantastic job. Breaking that it's an African billionaire that's going to be taking over. I didn't stutter. Billionaire with a B that's going to be taking over United. And this had come from a story by Matt Lawton of The Times, who's chief football correspondent or chief sports correspondent. He's got 187,000 followers. So to say he's a reliable source is an understatement. We can't, as Blades, get too excited until it's all done. Until I see that new man holding the scarf. It seems too good to be true. So that set hair's running. So when I see that at 11 or half 11 last night, ping, I can't sleep. I can't. That's it. We're all Googling, those of us that were awake and had seen it, African billionaires. Somebody circulated on the thread a list of African billionaires, and I think there's 18 or 19, 18 I think there were. So that were it. We were all into each profile, all into everything, seeing what we could find out. Who's it going to be? Mansour were in there, who's the man I did the video on, despite Darren Smith saying it weren't him, but he's obviously there. The only comment that Darren put forward was that he weren't Egyptian, which obviously rules Mansour out. So that were it then. I think it narrowed it down to about 14 of them. Anyway, then obviously people are speculating wildly. This photo comes out with what appears to be Eki with an unknown figure in what has since been confirmed as a hotel in Wrexham. Who's that? Oh, it looks like... And the name that keeps coming up is Koos Becker. Now, I don't know much about Koos Becker. He's worth 2.6 billion. My word. He's revered for transforming South African newspaper publisher Naspers into an e-commerce investor and cable TV powerhouse. That's all fantastic. 2.6 billion. Oh my word. Let's hope it's him. Pictures didn't really match, if I'm honest, from what I saw. But that's by the by, because the news rolls on and there's more to come out. So then there's rumours about it being a Zimbabwe billionaire who none of us have heard of. None of us have heard of a lot of these names, let's be right. And there's an update this afternoon comes on from Matt Lawton that says, I can confirm the potential buyer is Dozy Mmobousi. Dozy Mmobousi? Dozy. Is there a better name for a prospective owner of the Blades, if there's, you know, a Nigerian, so straight away, you know, oh, he's emailed me. I've spoken to him before. He's asked me auntie to marry him. All this sort of stuff. It's typical, isn't it? You know, we had Poundland prints that people were talking about, and, you know, the takeover weren't happening, some Blades, but I just want to quash all that, to be fair, because Blades are right to be sceptical. We've had a history of, you know, sort of ups and downs, roller coaster ride following the Blades, as we all know. And things like this just don't happen to United. So I also need to stress it's not confirmed yet. And I've already been wrong once in who it could have been. Not that I was saying it were definitely them, but that was the news at the time. So Dozy is worth £7 billion.
Confidence is key, and my keys all jangling. I can open any door, serving body, bits, and more.
Which is unbelievable. The report says he's close to completing a £90 million takeover of Sheffield United. The reason for the embargo was defaulted payments on Brewster and Anel, but we're working to resolve that, and that should be done very shortly. Whether that's current owner, Prince Abdullah, which Darren Smith had speculated is the case, and usually is a very reliable source, or its prospective new owner. Whichever way it's come about, it's been agreed to be resolved. So just a little bit about Dozy. He's the owner of a mobile phone company, and it's called Tingo Mobile, and it was last year valued at £6.17 billion.
Can't touch. Yo, I told you can't touch this.
It's now going to EFL owners and directors test. That's the final bit, we believe, of sort of checks and balancing that needs to be done. And then it could potentially be unveiled as the new owner of Sheffield United, the Nigerian billionaire Blade. But word of caution, I don't like to be pessimistic at times like this because I just want to jump for joy if I'm honest.
Come on!
But there are other billionaire owners further down the pyramid. You know, Stoke have got billionaire owners as far as I'm aware. They've certainly backed with hundreds of millions of pounds in terms of Bet365 own them. Barnsley's combined ownership in League One goes into the billions. So, yes, well, it's amazing news and hopefully would secure the future of the club. But you never quite know. It's all dependent on how much he wants to invest in the club. So, fantastic news. That's me sort of trying to balance everything out a little bit. I had a whole sort of Rotherham preview planned, which will get scrapped now because I don't want this to go on forever. And let's be right, there's only one bit of news, isn't there? One thing I will say is Rotherham have had one hell of a transfer window. It will not be easy at all. I'm not saying I'd take a point because of the run we've been on, but do not expect this to be an easy game. Just looking at their past results, the last couple, they beat Blackburn 4-0 at home, and then they got a good point away at Watford, so it'll be a really tough game, and they've strengthened really well in January, so watch out for Rotherham. The only other thing I'd say is thank you again for the increase in subscribers. We're currently going to have a the dive into 500. So join me on that if you can. If you would be so kind as to share this video so that it can get seen by more eyes and hopefully more people are a little bit more informed as to where we are currently with the takeover. I can't guarantee that everything I've said will come to fruition because obviously it's moving parts all the time, but it looks like we've finally got the reveal of who the man is behind the takeover bid. I can't believe it, really. Can't believe it. So I still fancy us to turn Rotherham over, if I'm honest. I think the feel-good factor of Sander and Ndiaye staying, and obviously, hopefully, the momentum of the takeover and potentially even coming out of the embargo, or certainly pending, will give us a real wave of confidence and momentum going into the game. So, fingers crossed for Saturday. I'll be there at Wrexham on Tuesday, so I'll try and get some out in between times, but just for now, take all that in if you can, and up the Nigerian billionaire blades.